for this week's guest post for the Bullhorn Reach Blog, Get Reach, I thought I'd use the opportunity. I'm in Dallas at the moment. I'm staying at Fish Dog Central with Criag Fisher at Fish Dogs. I thought I'd use the opportunity to vlog this week rather than blog and talk about a topic which gets plenty of traffic and plenty of discussion, and that's around influence. Influence or affluence is the name of this vlog. So, Criag, what's your thoughts on influence then? Give us your thoughts.
So we talked about this a little bit on Drive Through HR the other day, and we've talked about it on the TalentNet Live chat and radio show, and it's a highly controversial topic. Should people use clout scores or other influence lists as a basis to vet people for jobs or anything else? And I say whether or not people should, they will.
And they do.
And they do.
I think the other point is that it's how they're being used. So, for instance, I wouldn't essentially employ somebody just because of their clout score, right, or just because of their peer index score, or whichever list I decided to use. But I can't say that it wouldn't be a factor. So while it wouldn't be a disqualifier, it may be a qualifier. It may be that in certain roles, I know definitely when I'm working with an organisation and we're looking into who we're going to use as brand advocates, the first place that we look is at the clout score, because a high clout score is an indication of an understanding and an involvement in social media. So I think it's important. For me, the big controversy comes about with the term influence. I think influence is the wrong term. Mm-hmm. I think it's the wrong term to use, because I think influence is something which is much more longer term, long lasting, whereas I think online influence is really short term. It's related to how long you do activity. I know that I'll have a ranked influence at the moment if I'm particularly active. If I get busy for a few months and have to do a load of work and go into the trenches and don't do any activity, then my online influence will drop. I don't think that makes me any less influential. I think it gives me less impact, less opportunity to share and get things heard, because I'm producing less content. So for me, impact is a better term, and understanding that it's short term, and those people who are ranked highly are probably not practitioners in the areas that they're ranked highly.
Generally, that's true. So a couple of things that I think are sort of given truths about this whole influence thing is that what we're really talking about is people who are good at networking and branding currently. They're doing it well right now, right? And
which is important information to know. You want to know who, if they share your link or talk about your stuff, is going to be useful.
Well, yeah, so in your network, you want to target your influencers for certain things, right? You want to respond to them. You want to make sure they're responding to you and retweeting your content and liking your content and posting your content, whatever. You also want those people in your organization sometimes. So it does affect hiring decisions in certain circumstances. So if you're hiring a marketer, for instance, that's a big deal, right? A lot of marketers, I find, people in the marketing department, aren't any good at that. If you want a brand advocate, an influencer in your organization for that reason, then it comes into play. Now, we had Katie Berry, who is Clout's marketing director, on TalentNet Live in the spring, and she very wisely said, we at Clout don't recommend that you use a Clout score on its own for anything. Yeah, why would you? Right? Yeah. Very smart. And you shouldn't. I mean, obviously, it's illegal.
But it is an identifier.
Yeah, but it is an identifier. And here's the thing. People want shortcuts, right? Yeah. As much as we say we're going to research everybody we're going to look at, we're going to go in-depth, and we're going to do our research. You know what? People want shortcuts.
And actually, something I have to say is how I use it in a practical sense is I use the Clout list, Clout influencers. So this is the people who Clout believe influence me or I'm influenced by. And I've set that up as a Twitter list, and I've put that Twitter list in TweetDeck. Right. And actually it's pretty accurate. You know, the people who I see posts from would be the people who would also be the posts that I would immediately open and look at. So I think there's some merit in that, but I think the point that you made, that people who are gaining higher scores, people say, oh well, they've learned how to
game system, whatever.
Yeah. Isn't that called marketing?
Yeah, they've learned how to be good marketers.
They've learned how to be good marketers.
That's exactly right.
Good networkers. So that's probably the kind of people I do want to get into my organisations.
I agree. And the people who claim they're gaming the system are the people who aren't high up there.
Yeah. So I think overall my opinion is, in terms of influence and in terms of influence measures, it's not the be all and end all. It's not everything, but I think it is important for you to know who is influential in your direct community, and I think the tools that are there will certainly help you to do that.
Right, and this is a very good point, because I told John Sumser this a while back, and he thought it was noteworthy. Influence is only important in your network. In your network. It's only important as to what you're influential about. So that's great. I think on that note, we'll finish. Thanks, everybody, for listening in. It's been good talking to you. Cheers.